a recording is started, and it'll just be a minute or so before I find something to talk about. And then once again, apologies if for my congestion and whatnot.
That's okay.
Have we ever gone over on I think last time we went over tank, right?
Yeah, it was more tank. I wanted to get like support. Yeah, we wanted to get good at support as well.
Okay. Sounds good.
Adjusting angle of attack.
Yeah, see, I'm like distracted or something. Like I'm not. And then I let my Zen die here, and I died at the instant because I don't have sleep because I used it on the Nick.
Yeah. So like you're pointing out, right? Just healing up our Zen, landing some of our shots there can probably keep us alive as well.
I've seen it. You're going to live.
This will protect us.
Alrighty. I think I have something on my mind that we'll discuss. But I'm just giving it an extra second. Alright, so a couple things to be discussing. So firstly, notice our positioning. So we, as of the current moment, are very out in the open, not really using any cover. So reminder, good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. When you're standing smack dab in the middle of the open without anything to run behind, Kree starts shooting at you, you die, right? Is kind of the idea. Aside from that, ability usage. So ability usage, especially nades here. I'm not really seeing you going for too many aggressive anti-nades, and then I'm also not really, I would say that's a big one. As anti-nade is just a really, really powerful ability. When you land like a 4, 5, 6-man anti-nade, that's going to be in a lot of cases even more powerful than your nano boost can be, and that's an ability on a cooldown. So you want to make sure that you're looking to throw aggressive anti-nades just more often. And then besides that, I think we missed a lot of sleep, so we can maybe go more in depth on how we can land abilities. Right now, I'm just getting into why you want to land abilities, because abilities are very important. They are a large part of how you carry and get large amounts of value on Ana, rather than just kind of existing. So I would definitely recommend putting more thought and effort into the ability usage as of the current moment.
Thank you.
We're burning up the
Healing enough. Back off.
I did kill him. I was so confused.
Get healed.
Okay. I think we're gonna have a bunch of things to talk about.
You're going to live.
Yeah.
Alright, I think that there's just a lot of like Ana's techie side of her, like Ana's kit that you need to be working on in particular. So just to check, we went in depth previously on positioning, right? Just on like just general positioning. I want to make sure that's out of the way.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yep, so that's really important to just remember that. Let's go over a bunch of Ana specific stuff. So sleep dart, right? Make sure that you're, when it comes to projectiles, so that's going to be sleep especially here, but this also applies to your unscoped shots and your nades, is that you want to make sure that you're leading them. I think as of so far, you did not land any sleeps out of like maybe the 4 or 5 that we attempted to go for. And a large amount of them ended up just going behind people. So when you're firing off your sleeps, you want to make sure you're leading your shots. So that means that the further away somebody is from us, because we are shooting a projectile, the further ahead we need to aim. So if this bot is right next to me, I need to aim directly at them, because there's no need to aim ahead, because they're right next to me. There's no travel time at all. But the further away they get, I'm going to have to start aiming more and more ahead. Here, if I trail and just shoot normally, notice how the shots kind of go behind them a little bit. Third bot here, you're going to see that very apparently, right, I keep my crosshair perfectly on top of them, and now I'm missing all my shots, right? So if you want to be able to land your sleep or your shots, you have to aim ahead of where they're moving, which isn't something that we're doing too often. So make sure you're looking to do that when we're working with people like really far away, like the fourth bot here. We're gonna have to aim a couple seconds ahead. Oh, messed that one up. You're gonna have to aim a couple seconds ahead, just so that you're landing about the time they reach there, right? It's really you're just aiming like here. You know, you're just aiming that crosshairs length away. So make sure you're pre-aiming your shots or leading your shots. Scope usage. Let's discuss scope usage real quick. On Ana, you have 3 different types of scoping. You have unscoped, you have scoped, and then you have quick scope. We're going to pretty much ignore quick scope for the moment. That's one that you're using about 10% of the time. And then scope, you're going to be using like 45% of the time, and unscoped, you're using 45% of the time. So those two are pretty even. Advantages and disadvantages of each. Your unscoped, you're going to maintain visibility, maintain movement. You're going to have a projectile shot by nature, whereas when you scope, you're going to now be slowed movement. You're going to be zoomed in and lose visibility, but also gain visibility at a range. You're going to now have an instant shot, right? And also lowered sensitivity. So all of these point to the fact that your scope is better at ranges, and yet, while, you know, in the last fight right before I pull this out here, we're scoping in at, you know, like this range from people, which is, you know, like 10 meters from people. That's not really a range in which you want to be scoping in on people, because then that means that you end up, you know, at that range, that means that you end up just making it very easy for people to shoot at you and whatnot. So, my recommendation would be something along the lines of, let me see, might even, I'm trying to think if I bump it up. It's, yes, so when it comes to shooting at squishy targets, so non-tanks, you are going to do that from about, you're going to unscope your shots from about 10 to 15 meters from them, right? And then anything past that range, then you're scoping in. And then tanks, because they have bigger hitboxes on them, then you can move it up to about like 15 meters or so. You know, maybe cap out at 20, 15, 20. And then past that range, because tanks have bigger hitboxes, then you can pass that range. Oh, sorry. Yeah. That past that, I'm confusing myself. My apologies. Past that range on tanks is going to be scoped. 15, 20 is going to be unscoped, right? So unscoped is closer range, scoped is longer range, and then quick scope happens when you're under pressure. We don't have to spend too much time on that. Let's really quick Nade Tech that we can review, just because it's usually handy to go over. This is very handy for landing mid to long range nades. You're going to scope in. This does not work if you are unscoped. You're going to line up your ult charge with an enemy, press E, and that nade's going to hit them from any height, any range that you're at. These guys, same thing. They're on a little bit of a slope this time, so we're going to line up our Q with them, since we're more on even footing with them this time. Toss a nade, nade hits.
Oh. Okay.
Yep.
Arriving at Watchpoint Gibraltar, ready for battle.
Let the dragon consume you. I need healing.
We're past that.
Take your medicine.
So, you know, right here we could be tossing, just chucking in a nade, looking to get some purples, get some, you know, a little bit of extra ult charge, make it so that they're delayed as they're pushing in, just as an idea.
Heal up. You're covered.
Alright, so in this scenario, right, we're trying to jump down, we're trying to save the Hanzo.
Yeah.
Right, we get chased down. What is maybe something that we can be doing here to make it out alive?
Not drop down in front of the enemy team, maybe drop down the other side.
Draws on the other side. Yep, that's definitely an option. Like here, that just means that really that would mean that like Hanzo. I mean, you could assume that Hanzo's gonna die, chop down the other side. I think that'd be a fine option, though. I don't think that it's the worst decision in the world to drop in after your Hanzo. Like, I don't think that's a bad decision. Let's say now you're already in the scenario, right? Right now, what is something right now that you could be doing to keep yourself alive?
Sleep.
Yep, there you go. Turn around and sleep, and yet that's something we do not do here, and then therefore we end up getting froze and then dead, right? So, I'm not sure. I'm assuming that we are aware that we're being frozen by May in this situation. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible you do not. In which case, that's awareness, paying attention to your environment, listening, watching, feeling the fact that you're getting slowed. And then besides that, with the assumption that you do know that she's there, then it's making sure you're turning around and trying to sleep her rather than just trying to run away, because you're not going to be able to outrun a freeze like that.
Mm-hmm.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Watching your back.
Notice, for example, here how we're scoping in on people who are like on top of us, right? So
Oh, yeah.
here we're on the Hanzo. He's maybe on like the very, very edge of like, so this is maybe okay to be scoping in at this. You could probably honestly unscope if you expect him to come closer to you, which he does, right? So if you expect him to come closer, or you're moving closer to him, you can probably keep unscoping here. And then besides that, you could probably also want to convert to the unscope when he's on top of you here. Kind of keep scoping in. So just another example there. That whole scope versus unscope, the main thing that's going to boost is your both your accuracy in hitting shots, but then also it's gonna boost a little bit of your if you're scoping in. Sorry, like it basically goes two ways. If you are somebody who is unscoping at a too far of a range, then it's going to increase your accuracy if you scope in more. I'd say that you're the opposite direction, where you're scoping at too close of a range, so that's just going to open you up with some more awareness and keep you alive a bit more. It's going to up your survivability.
30 seconds remaining.
I'm so
30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so, here,
30 seconds remaining.
miss the shot. That's okay. Missing happens.
30 seconds remaining.
When you do go for it, notice how we kind of do like this. We're shooting people normal. We kind of like flick it to the side at the last second. Don't flick if it's not necessary. I'm not sure this is a topic we need to go super in depth on, but a lot of times on a player still kind of go pew pew shoot shoot normally, and then they'll go for a sleep, and then all of a sudden they will flick it very sharply. Flicking is necessary in certain instances, and others it's not, right? So fast moving target, sure, flick. Someone sneaks up behind you, turn around and flick on them, right? Monkey's on top of us right now, you want to flick around to look at Monkey. Somebody's not on screen and you're acquiring a new target, flick up to them, right? But if you're already aiming straight at somebody and none of the above apply, then you probably just want to aim straight at them, or track them, or predict where they're moving rather than flicking. Okay. Here we see, I say the bigger issue, rather than just missing it, is that we see that there's somebody down there, Monkey, right? We might need sleep against Monkey, but we use sleep anyways. Try to go for the McCree. We might want to just hold on to it here for when Monkey dives us, like a second later. Request healing, get your Zen to look at you, get healing sooner. That actually keeps you alive there if you request healing and your Zen looks at you sooner. Gives them an in-game audio cue as to where you're at.
Take your medicine.
Yeah, a little low there. Just want to make sure you're arcing it, so when you're tossing a nade. Here we're just, we're tossing a nade.
Take your medicine.
And we're aiming directly at them. And if you're aiming directly at them, it's going to go to low, where you have to aim above because it has an arc to it.
Mm-hmm.
I will keep you here.
Alright, so that's a mechanic that it appears as though you might be unaware of. When it comes to Mei Ultimate, it is line of sight based. Do you aware of what that might mean?
Oh, so if I go behind a wall and then the May all is like on the other side of the wall, it won't affect me?
Yes, you are correct. So the center, it is from the center of her little snowball. So if you, here, instead of trying to run this way, away from the ultimate, if you move, I think the wall might block you here, but if you moved this way, and you get around that corner, then that would cancel the slow. Even though you're within the radius, or you're within the ult here, if you're out of the center, out of line of sight of the center, then you will not get frozen. Now, I don't actually know if you have time to go for it, but I'm assuming that because we didn't try, that we weren't aware of it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's very handy. That's going to get you out of them. Same thing applies to Sigma Flux. So you'll notice with the Sigma Flux, there's a little ring around the center, like an inner ring. And if you're out of line of sight of that inner ring, then you will not get pulled up. Let's see, what other ones act like that? Well, I mean, there's obvious ones, of course, that are line of sight based. I'm trying to think if there's other, like, circle ones. I think, off the top of
Like
my head,
Baps
that's
Emor?
Baptiste Immortality Field. Yes, that also,
Oh,
Baptiste Immortality Field is also line of sight based.
okay.
Yeah.
I
All
did
right.
not know that. Wow.
Yep.
Down, get here.
Okay, good
Going to
heal.
be okay. You're powered up. Get in
Uh-oh,
there.
wrong target. So,
Get
firstly, awareness, right? So, paying attention to your environment. Hanzo is,
You're
we
going
see
to be
Hanzo,
okay.
we see him directly on top of us, and
You're
we
powered
kind of
up.
walk
Get in
into
there.
him here. That's, I mean, really, that's the biggest thing here, right?
Hmm.
It's not like Hanzo magically jumps in front of us, which will happen once in a while, right? We'll see. We'll look around. There'll be no one near us, and all of a sudden Lucio swings in from above. That will happen. But here, Hanzo was in front of us the entire time, and we actually walked into him, right, rather than walking away from him. So awareness, right? When you know that there's a teammate here, you can walk to the right, the left. You can back up. You can walk in ahead of them. You can wait for them to move out of the way. You have a lot of options to work with. You really just want to be aware and make sure that the Hanzo's not intercepting it, because at least I'm imagining you're not trying to go for the Hanzo here. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think it looks like we're trying to go for the monkey, and
Yeah.
we pop it on the Hanzo. So make sure being aware of him, right, and looking to dodge him out.
Enemies engaged. Don't move.
Let the dragon consume you!
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Okay. You seem to be slightly high ground adverse. I would encourage you to go and take high grounds. Did we ever go in depth on high grounds?
I don't think in depth.
In depth? Alright, let's go in depth on high grounds. So, we went in depth on low grounds, right? Low grounds, good positioning is the usage of cover, bad positioning is the absence of cover. High grounds,
Hmm.
very similar in that, generally speaking, high grounds is good positioning. When it comes to a high ground, the entire thing acts as, for the most part, you have better quality high grounds than others, but the entire thing acts as natural cover, right? So
Hmm.
here, right, they can see you, you back up, they can't see you. You crouch, same thing, they can't see you. Now this is where you can see it a little bit, like where, now there's not as much of a back off here, so it's a little bit harder if you're like in the middle of this center pathway, but there are going to be better and worse high grounds to be on. When it comes to high grounds, right? But for the most part, most of high ground acts as natural cover. Additionally, most characters can't reach you, right? So look at their team comp. Mei has to take the stairs, Chris has to take the stairs, Ana has to take the stairs, right? And then Diva and Monkey, they need to use their abilities, and then now, all you have to do is run away, and they're out of their abilities, right? So
Hmm.
that's additional survivability. And then on top of all of that, you have tons of good visibility, right? So let's just take this, for example. Let's say you're in here. Well, you can see the entirety over here. You can see the entirety over here, over here, and over here, right? So you literally, with 2 seconds of movement, you can see the entirety of all of point. But if you're positioned down here, well, now you can't see anything over there whatsoever. You can't see any of the high grounds at all. So you lose out on like half of the potential visibility. And then that's not even going into the full depths of why high ground is good. There's even more than that, but that's the basics as to why high ground is good. So when you, for example, right here, have the option to come out of spawn and immediately take high ground, and this would probably get you to the fight even faster than curving left would, you probably want to take the free high ground, right?
Yeah.
Does that all make sense? Any questions?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alrighty, and once again, it's not an end-all be-all. There will be times where you're pressured off of high ground, so Diva Monkey dive you, feel free to give it up, right? But it's, whenever possible, it's a preference to look to take it.
Okay.
Watching your back.
Massive nade. Big, big, big. Then we got a 3K with that one. Okay, here we see Diva Bomb. We rush the sleep a little bit. Once again, notice there's a little bit of a flick, so we're kind of, look how we're aiming our shots, right? So we're going pew, pew, bang, bang, straight line, right? Then we go for the pew, pew, bang, bang, right? We're relatively little crosshair movement, and then it comes to Baby Diva, watch the flick, right? We kind of do this a little bit more sharp. Weren't leading it enough, right? Now, aside from that, let's ignore those. Okay, it's a Baby Diva. She just bombed. What is she going to be doing? Diva who just bombed. What is she probably going to be doing within the next 3 seconds?
Remeching.
All right. So when she's remeching, what does she do?
Stand still.
Stand still. All right. So how easy is it to land on a standing still target asleep versus a moving target?
Easier.
Easier. All right. There we go. So, probably give it an extra second, right? And then you can land the sleep on the standing still Baby Diva rather than the moving Baby Diva, and then more value. Now, if you saw that she was nanoed, she was shooting at your Brig. If you saw Brig is 1 HP and you need to sleep to save Brig, go ahead. I mean, like, when it comes to the game of Overwatch, and most games in general, and all of life, the answer to each question will always be situational. It's always going to depend situation to situation. You're going to be doing something in this situation than if your Brig is 1 HP, right? That changes it up. But when nobody's in danger, wait an extra second or two, right? Go for the sleep on the standing still target.
Okay.
Toss in a nade on those two. Okay. I would say that I'm noticing a lot of shots that you're missing. Now, I think that you generally play tank, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, you're mainly a tank player, and then you kind of just play support on the side. Is that like kind of what you're looking at here?
I want to play all the roles, but I'm probably best at tank.
Okay. Let's discuss 2 things here. So let's discuss the all the roles thing, and then after that we'll discuss a little bit about improvement upon aiming and whatnot. So all the roles. So when it comes to that, this is, out of everything that I say, this is going to be a very up to you thing. It depends on what are your goals and priorities while playing. And I always, you probably maybe remember, but the first time we had a session, I asked, like, what are your goals? And I have absolutely no clue what you said. So, right, when it comes to your goals and reasons for playing, right, that's going to depend on how you take this and what you take away from what I'm saying. So when it comes to improvement, you will improve slower the more characters and roles that you spread yourself thin with. So let me explain that more. if you play like all 3 roles, and every single character are going to have different play styles, different abilities, different ultimates, different guns that have different different types of shooting mechanics. Every character is different. Now, of course, there are translatable elements between all of them, but it also means that you're going to have more things to improve upon. And when there's more to work on, you're going to have a slower time improving if you're trying to work on more things. So, therefore, the more roles and characters that you're spreading yourself thin on, the longer it will take to improve at the game. So that's why I said it depends on where your goals and priorities are. If your objective or reason for playing the game is just to have fun, or that's a big reason, then completely ignore everything I'm saying, because you have fun playing different characters, and the being good at them isn't as much of a factor. Now, if you're trying to climb in SR, improve at the game, if you're trying to win games, then this might apply a little bit more, or you can go take a middle ground. I'd probably recommend limiting how many characters you play and how many roles you play. So if you're trying to be really competitive, probably say only go with like one role, primary role, and that's not.
Okay.
And that's not to say that you can never swap and roles ever. You never touch tank ever, or it's anything like that, right? But it's to say that you are going to put your primary attention into it, and then maybe you just play the other role or the other character once in a while with friends, or once in a while if the situation dictates it in your game. But yeah, one role, and then the amount of characters will probably depend on how much time you put into the game. If you play the game for like 1 hour a day, then you really probably should stick to somewhere between like 1 to 2 characters. If you're playing like 2 to 3 hours a day, well then you could probably go 2 to 3 characters. Then you can start ramping it up the more hours you play. If you're playing very, very consistently, like if you're playing like 8 hours a day, then you could probably go up to like 6 different characters. But at the same time, if you're trying to get really, really effective at certain characters, again, limiting is still going to be better. Does that all make sense? Any questions on that?
No, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Okay, so besides that, aim. If you're trying to work on your aim and practice at your aim, my first question would be: do you do warm-ups before you play?
Yeah, I need to start getting into warm-ups. I mean, I started doing it with Diva, but yeah.
Alrighty. And then, I mean, is that something we talked about previously at all?
Yeah, like the try-hard lobbies.
Yes. Okay. So that's a good thing, right? Do that while you're before you're warming up. I'd recommend warming up, because that's just going to mean that you get into the rhythm. Every time you get off for the day, you're going to basically be getting rusty over that, and this gets your muscle memory back in sync with what you're doing. And just gets you pumped, gets you ready. And then besides that, I'd recommend just doing that for general training as well, because from the current moment, I would say that it's not just that you're not warm. It looks as though it's not just a lack of warming up. It looks as though it's also just the fact that your aim needs work to it. And therefore, I would probably do more than just warm up. I'd also practice and train your aim. So that could just be as simple as go and hop into a tryhard free for all, or if you're trying to practice Ana, there's other ones like Ana Paintball is a good one. And you can go and play these modes and intentionally practice your aim while you're in between games. That's a simple one. There's aim trainers you could also try. You could try custom game lobbies that are aim trainers. You can try actual aim trainers for free on like Steam. And then besides that, just keep intentionally thinking about it while you're playing. Any questions there?
No.
Okay, let's continue. And I'm noticing I'm getting more congested, so I might be talking a little funny.
Hello there.
Okay, so right now, in between every single fight of the game, you want to be repositioning to the best place possible. Often that's going to be, because we just talked about it.
Oh, like a high ground.
Yeah, exactly, right? probably want to be, we have like 20 seconds ish, right? Ish is the important part there. 20 seconds ish to be rotating up to high ground, which is plenty of time, and we want to just be doing that so that we're ready for the next fight to start. Right here, we're very out in the open. We are, we don't have good angles. We don't have anything going for us. We're going to get rolled immediately. Whereas if we took the time, we could probably get up to somewhere like up here, and then we'd have the exact same visibility, except for it'd be like 5 times better, right? So probably do that. That would be a very good thing to do.
The ultimate is almost ready.
You're covered.
See that which is unseen.
I have your back.
This will protect us.
Heldensterben.
Dragon consume you.
Heal up. I'm under attack. Take your medicine.
60 seconds remaining.
Alright, so your team is pushing a little far forwards. Now, if they are all being stupid, go and do that with them. That's okay. But preferably just for your own reference, your team should probably be holding around cart, not all the way up in their inside past. You should most certainly not be holding past these doors here, and then you had multiple people go and do that, which is very unfortunate.
This is the name.
Yay, we did it! We landed asleep.
She still got out. Everyone's dead.
Yep. Right.
Get your power down.
Alright. Back here, what kind of stage in the fight are we at? We've gone over kill feed, right? That's something we've gone in depth on. So what kind of stage of the fight are we at right now?
Lost fight.
Lost fight, right? So therefore that means that we go and do what?
Oh, like not use alts and backup?
Yep, back up. Don't use ults. If you're incapable of backing up, you can let them kill you. Or, if even better, if you have the option, you can go and like jump off the map and kill yourself. That doesn't give them ult charge and probably kills yourself faster. But instead, we stopped backing up. Watch how we were backing up, right? That was good. And then we paused, and then we pushed back in. And we kind of moved towards the open. We're kind of running in. We're at 50 HP. Fight's lost, and we're running back in out in the open. And we also use Nano Boost as well, right? So we're staggering ourselves. We are staggering the Hanzo. We are staggering the Doomfist even longer. We go in depth on staggering. You recall what staggering is?
Yeah, it's when we lose the fight and then a few people get killed like a few seconds later, or a few,
Yep.
like they get killed.
Yep, dying late, right? Just puts everything all out of whack, wastes time, causes extra lost fights, and yep, just not good all around. So we want to avoid it, and here that is avoidable, and yet we perpetuate it, right? We make it. Instead of mitigating the damage of staggering, we go and make the damage worse, right? And that's what's happening here.
Get your power down. Get in there.
Because now the Doomfist still gonna die, right? Those two still die, and then they just die even later.
I've got you. Wait,
Hold up.
30 seconds remaining.
The pain. Walk the dog.
Sleep, 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 sleep.
Oh.
Yep. Yep. Just same thing as the May. Right? Remember the fact that you got sleep. That you have it that's ready to use defensively should be the first thing that we're thinking of, that we're glancing at. So that's a little. I'm not. Yeah, I'd say it's maybe a little bit of awareness. I'm not sure if we. It's either one of two things. Either I think that it's that we're not thinking of it is the big thing, and then maybe another thing could be that we don't know if we have it or not.
Yeah.
If you don't know that you have it or not, that's paying attention. When it was the last time we used it, glancing. You can in all this time that we're running away, you can glance down at it, or even better, you can look at him and try to click the button. And if nothing happens, then you don't got it.
Okay.
So just using sleep here definitely saves you 100%. Probably be a pretty easy sleep, right? big old monkey right in your face, or like think how easy is this sleep right here if you don't move your mouse around?
Oh, pretty easy.
Pretty easy, right? So you could run up to him, make the target bigger, right? Think once again, like think of it like that as well, right? If you're back here, monkey is in comparison to your whole screen, he's like I can't do the head math. 1/9 of your screen, but if you come up to here, well, now he is your screen, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to get a little. I like that. I'm gonna use that more now. Yeah, that's just sleeps. You run at him, make it easy. Also, yeah, high ground, stayed in, we staggered, etc.
I have your back.
Overtime.
Let the dot.
Ready for battle.
Oh yeah.
Ready for battle.
They took Ana, so I went Zen.
Alrighty.
And then they told me to switch off Zen. And then I did.
You wanting to go over Zen then, or kind of
Not
skip
really.
over?
I don't play him. I would probably fast forward till like maybe Bap.
Okay, sounds good. So that's why you're asking about immortality.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Fully healed. Taking the high ground.
Thank
How about a little extra? Thank you.
you. My ultimate is charged.
Focus my target.
Move it. Get in here.
Okay, little bit rushed of a lamp. Okay, what is that? So tire is not currently close. It's on the bottom left. You
yeah.
you could probably, so that might be awareness. That might be that we didn't know it, like know where it's coming from. In which case, I'd encourage you make sure you're paying attention to your audio. Right, where is the directional audio coming from? How far away does it sound, etc. Look around for it, etc. Yeah. We discussed audio just to make sure? Do we go over settings and stuff like that?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we went over audio. Just keep on listening. Now, 2, it could just be because we panicked it here and we kind of rushed it a little bit early. I would encourage you to be careful about that. What is the reason why you probably wouldn't want to be using it right now?
Because it's gonna run out or they're gonna destroy it.
Yeah, exactly. Because by the time tire actually reaches us, it's either going down just because it ran out of time or because they destroyed it and it's kind of out in the open here. So I'd wait till it gets a lot closer, or you hear it or you see it get a lot closer rather than rushing it. Because notice he actually runs in with it, but if he waited an extra I think it actually, let's see, it's still up? It looks like we still have the effects, yeah. So it's still up and he comes in here. So he just, oh, that is weird. The immortality seemed to be gone, and then we had a lingering effect.
Oh.
That is strange.
Wow.
That might be a new one for me. It's no, that's huh. All right, I'm sorry. I'm attempting to wrap my head around that one. I'm unsure of if that's a bug or if immortality has always lingered for an extra half a second. Because here, Reinhardt and maybe you should probably be dead, but immortality saves him because Reinhardt goes down to 50 HP. No, I guess he just tanked it because how much does immortality save? Does immortality save 50 HP? I think they changed that. Actually, okay, it does save 50 HP. Okay, so it did actually save him there. Sorry, I'm confusing myself there. All right, let's get back to you. That was a weird interaction.
Take cover.
Horns and Crusaders!
punch him.
Oh yeah.
Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei.
They brought one. Healing you.
Nice.
Let them out.
The ultimate is almost ready.
See that which is
Push forward.
Okay, so our ult, I think we're trying to like kill Mercy with it.
Let them out.
Issue is that it's not a so current issue with the ultimate, right? The reason why it doesn't do a whole lot is because the majority of their team is very close to cover. Mercy has her tanks who can both tank for her, so she's probably not gonna die to it. You currently do not have a ton of. I guess actually you do have Hanzo and Soldier with you. I didn't see Hanzo there on the left, right? So cover, right, is the biggest counter that every single character in the game has to window. So make sure that when you are windowing, that you are looking to use it when they are out in the open and they do not have cover to use in proportion to your shield or to your window, right? And then also, maybe it's a little bit rushed as well. We're using it kind of at this in-between fights stage. So right now the fight hasn't necessarily started. And because of that, they have all of their abilities. They are not distracted by anything, so they can put all of their resources and attention into getting around your window. And then, whereas if the fight begins, well, now they have less resources. They also are going to be distracted, so they can't all pay attention to your window, right? So, therefore, probably not the best situation to use it. Might hold on to it for an extra 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
The ultimate is almost ready.
Because notice how they just very, very fast get around the corner and then it just becomes useless. Whereas, let's say that we use it like on, we wait a couple seconds, we use it on this corner. Well, now they probably have a lot less places to run with it if we're using it like, approximately now, right? Look at like right now if we had used it. Look at them now and like where the heck's Reinhardt gonna go? Would they have to touch point? We're about to cap, so they have to they have to come out in the open, right? So things like that probably could make it get a lot more value.
My ultimate is ready. My ultimate is ready.
Shooting right clicks at him. Watch that.
Regen burst activated.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Here we're separating ourselves from our team a little bit. Probably go in position over with them. We can maybe go in more in depth if we need to on that. But you want to be with your team here, not isolated from them. And then we end up think if you're paying attention to the Soldier there maybe a little bit sooner, then we don't have to use Immortality, and then we have it for just a second later when it's probably a lot more in need.
60 seconds remaining.
Dein Teufel ist da.
An enemy.
60 seconds.
Okay. So, here, right, can you walk me through the idea that you're getting at by going on this flanky off angle?
I wanted to get their support. And that was about it.
Okay. Probably recommend against that. The fight is currently engaging. This is actually still a decently winnable fight. It is a 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're only up a person here. This is still decently winnable. Yet, while the fight is so a couple things, right? Firstly, while the fight is happening, we're going on. I'll call this a flank, right? We're going on this flank in the middle of a fight, so this is a longer time that we're out of the fight for, right? So we heal them, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in that time Reinhardt dies, 5, right? So we can't see our teammates in a really long time. Additionally, Baptiste is just not a character who's built for flanks, right? Flanks are long and or dangerous, and we So therefore, you need to be a fast character. You need to have a lot of self-sustainability. Also, you should probably be a character who your team isn't in need of, right? A DPS can do this, right? Soldier or Tracer could do this because the team doesn't need Soldier or Tracer to be with them, but you as BAP, you need to be able to heal them. So by coming and doing this, we're firstly putting ourselves out of the fight for a long time, but we're also kind of ignoring our healing part of our kit, which is a big, part of our kit that's a good chunk of us as a healer. So probably would recommend against this. This is probably, not the play to be making.
An enemy's being... Regen up.
Okay, shift usage. You should be using your shift here. Firstly, noting that I think your teammates are all out of range of that anyways, besides like Hanzo here. So a large part of your team was actually out of range, right? So your shift has a 10-meter radius. Your teammates are outside of that range. Secondly, shift is used in primarily like 3 different scenarios, right? One, when a bunch of your teammates need healing, and this can help heal them all up. When you need healing, because it's a really good self-healer. And then also when somebody needs burst healing. So somebody's low, and you need multiple sources of healing to get them up higher to heal them sooner, right? Here, are any of those the case here?
No.
So we're using an ability when kind of nothing really is going on. So probably would not recommend against it. Okay. A little bit delayed of immortality, right? We toss it in a little bit late. Additionally, notice that you throw it at the wall, and then therefore, what happens? It has to bounce off of the wall into the ground, and then that delays. Before it actually opens up. So throw it at the ground if you're trying to get it to go sooner. Yep.
Immortality field down. Watch yourself.
10 seconds remaining.
Uh-oh.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Here, it's unfortunate that we reload like right as he lands on us.
I've got you in my sights.
How about a little
Okay,
extra heat?
immortality usage, right? So when it comes to immortality usage, you use it for when 2 criteria, or 1 primary criteria is being fulfilled. And that is danger, right? When you or a teammate, or preferably multiple teammates are in danger, right? It's going to get more and more value the more people who are in danger. And when people are in danger, then you use immortality field. Now, health bar is related to danger and influences danger, but it is not indicative of danger. I can be 1 HP, or you can be 1 HP, and sitting around the corner from a nanovisor, and be in 0 danger because the nanovisor cannot see you, right? There is nobody on their team currently who can kill you. Therefore, this is a wasted immortality field, right? You are not in need of it because nobody is capable of shooting at you, right? But I can be full HP. I can be a full HP person who's right here and be very much in danger because soldier can melt me in a second, right? And therefore, they would need immortality field. But like I said, it does influence it. So health bar usually does influence your danger level. So be aware of it. But you're immortalitying for danger, so watch the danger levels and be aware of danger levels.
Okay.
Alrighty.
How about a little extra heat?
Okay. Here, notice how we're healing up Reinhardt and we're aiming at the ground. Not sure if you were aware of this or not, because once again, you're not a BAT player. But when it comes to healing, you're going to do more healing if you're hitting direct shots on people versus if you're aiming at the floor.
Oh.
Yes, so you want to be aiming at people's feet. That way, not the floor. You want to instead of the floor, you want to aim at their feet. This way you get the direct shot, and if you miss the direct shot, then you still get the area of effect shot.
Okay.
Yep. So notice, just as a point of notice here, that a lot of the stuff that we've been covering between Bap and Ana are, I guess, a little bit more basic fundamentals of the character's kits in general, and a lot of that can be mitigated if you stick to if you learn through characters. Because if you, for example, if you were to play Bap and Ana and you played Bap and Ana exclusively, this is a lot of this stuff, not all of this stuff, not all the stuff we're going over. I don't want to put that in your head, but a lot of this stuff is going to be learned fairly easily as you accumulate playtime on them. But besides that, right, that's what I'm getting at. So, one of the the things that we're going over today probably are the things we're going over today because of the fact that it's kind of side characters that you are playing, right? But that is perfectly fine. Of course, there's still things for you to work on. Alrighty. So, time to come out here. We're gonna go and do our review, go over the main points, and then wrap up from there. Okay, Ana, ability usage, right? Put effort into how you're landing your abilities. We actually, I don't think ever went super in depth. Same with Ana. Don't try to hit people directly, right? It's kind of the opposite of what we were saying with Bap there. Don't try to hit people directly, because if you miss, go sailing. Oh, it didn't miss. It goes sailing past them in the Narnia. But if you aim at the floor, then it hits everybody in a massive radius, right? Additionally, that stops them from body blocking if you're hitting the floor, right? So floor in between as many people as possible, rather than directs, okay? Lead your shots with sleep. Don't randomly flick it. Nade, scope tech, put effort into it. Look for the antis. Overall ability usage probably goes to like a medium priority for you to work on or so. Ult usage, we saw like 1. Make sure people aren't walking in front of you. Be aware of them. Same thing with nades and whatnot. Walk to the left, walk to the right, walk backwards, walk forwards. Wait for them to move. And make sure you're actively paying attention to them, right? Overall ability usage on Ana, we didn't really talk too much on it, but yeah. So, medium, but we didn't, like I said, we didn't even see very much of it. Bap. When it comes to your ability usage, shift, right? 3 times for your self healing, for burst healing, and for group healing, and immortality for danger, right? That's the big thing with that. And then overall, that probably went to a higher end of a medium priority for. Trying to think. Actually, we'll keep it just a medium priority for you to work on. Ult usage, right? Yeah, just make sure people are in line of sight of it, right? Cover's a really big thing to get around it. Don't use it too early. You want to use it at the start of the fight, not before the fight. So wait for the start of the fight when people get when the teams get closer to each other. Make sure there's line of sight on the enemy team, and yep, yeah, that's pretty much it with the Bapple. I think I only saw like 1 Bapple. And then overall, that was around a medium. Saw all the mediums for the moment. And then we got mechanics. Mechanics on Ana was the scope usage. Right? It's gonna be approximately for unscoping. It's for squishy targets, right? You're gonna do like 10 to 15 meters ish, right? Is unscoped within that. Beyond that, it's scoped. Against tanks, because they have big hitboxes, it's gonna be about 15 to 20 meters away from them is unscoped, and then past that is scoped, right? And then besides that, let's see what else is there. Generally practice and work on your mechanics, right? Warm up, practice at it, missing a decent bit, and then that's just gotta be ironed out a little bit, practice at. Aim at people's feet with BAP. Right, with your right clicks. Don't toss in random right clicks into the enemy team. I think that's about it. Overall, low to medium priority for you to work on. Moving on to positioning. Make sure you're using cover. Good positioning is the usage of cover. Bad positioning is the absence of cover. Make sure that you're taking high grounds. High grounds are fantastic. Look to take them in between fights, right? Because you have a ton of time to rotate. Take them as you're walking back for spawn, etc.
That was
I
satisfying.
think that is most of what we reviewed. I don't think we went too much in depth on anything else with positioning. Get a little bit closer to your team on Bap. Ana, get a little bit less in the fray. You're kind of jumping into the fight a little bit. And then that's mainly it. Overall, higher end of a medium for you to work on. Finally, awareness. Awareness, pay attention to your health bar. Request healing when you're low. Pay attention to what the heck is up with my team. Where are they at? Where's the enemy team at? What's our teammates' health bars like? What's their danger levels? What's going on with our surroundings? What's happening in kill feed? Who's winning? Who's losing? Lot of general what the heck is going on, right? Keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, pay attention. All of that, all the odds and ends within that probably went to like a lower end of a medium high. There's just a lot of stuff within awareness that we kind of ended up not noticing, right? Overall yep, so put that all in order. Number 1, awareness. Number 2, positioning. 3 comes to your ability usage, 4 ultimate usage, and then 5 is mechanics. Any questions?
Nope. I don't have any questions.
Alrighty.